Peace. So, I want to ask y'all a question. Are you easily persuaded? Is persuasion something that affects you? Because I want to discuss persuasion a little bit. Because persuasion is a very, very powerful method, a method of psychology that's used, to me, most times to alter a person or to bring a person under the control of another person, man. You understand? So, persuasion is a science. And we have to be careful who we run into, and the intentions. Every time I make a video, I often speak about intention, because intention is everything. Everything is built on an intention. So when a person is doing anything, whatever it may be, it's an intention behind it. There's some type of outcome that person expects behind whatever they're doing. So with persuasion, we have to be careful, because the science of persuasion basically is to take somebody and to manipulate them basically into doing what you want, more or less. Rejecting their own ideas, rejecting their own understanding, if they have it, to do what you persuaded them to do, or what you coerced them into doing, or what what we may call fast talk or double talk or slick talk, somebody into doing something else. But the thing with persuasion is this. Persuasion works well against those who lack a healthy knowledge of self. Persuasion works well only against those who don't know who they are. And what I mean by that is that when a person comes to you, say you're talking about a belief system, per se, and the person is speaking with you, y'all building, and you sharing your belief system, and this person begins to talk about your belief system as well, and begins to persuade you that your belief system may be unhealthy for you, that your belief system may have some dangerous aspects to it, and in the process they are replacing your belief system with their own ideologies. You understand what I'm saying? Persuading you to accept their particular view. You see what I'm saying? And if you accept their particular view, 9 times out of 10, under those circumstances, you will be under the control of that person without even knowing it. What that means is that persuasion is a skill set. It's a tool that is used, to manipulate and control others. But many times those who are being manipulated and controlled by persuasion do not even recognize that they are being manipulated and controlled, because there are other factors that slide into the persuasion as well. For instance, charisma. A charismatic person. Personality worship itself. You see what I'm saying? All of these things play into persuasion. When you don't know and understand fully what you believe, you understand what I'm saying? It's easy for somebody to come along and shatter your belief system and then replace it with their own idea, and for you to easily accept it and not challenge it because it was a persuasive argument. You understand what I mean? And it was only persuasive because maybe you didn't have that much knowledge on the particular topic and thought you knew. See, a lot of times we as people, we will talk about things that we have no knowledge of. We do it all the time. We use words out of context. We speak about things that we have no knowledge of, and then we argue about it. Actually, it's not even a communicative process when you're dealing with somebody who has no knowledge of what they're trying to talk to you about. You understand what I'm saying? It becomes a bunch of feelings and emotions and a bunch of curse words and so on and so forth. Nothing validating that particular information. They have nothing to validate it. They have nothing to back it, because it's not built on truth. It's built on feeling. It's built on emotion. And persuasion works the same way. Persuasion works on your feelings. It works on your emotions. You see what I'm saying? If we're all sitting in poverty, I can come along and maybe say the right things to persuade you to pick up a gun and go fight. To end poverty, possibly. Maybe that may not even be your whole intent. Maybe that might not be your makeup, to go out, pick up a gun and go fight somebody. That might not even be in your makeup. But because I'm so persuasive, because I'm so charismatic, because you like my personality so much that you disregard your own self, that you will fall out and do these particular types of things. We can look at the science of persuasion and see how it's been manipulated through history. You look at Adolf Hitler, very persuasive. You look at Jim Jones, very persuasive. You see what I mean? So you have to look at these different types of things and look at where these persuasions come from. You see what I'm saying? You can find persuasion in your community each and every day. Our youth, our children are being persuaded each and every day by their own peers. They're being persuaded by environment and surroundings. Surroundings don't have necessarily excluding the science of people in surroundings, but a surrounding itself can speak to a person. It can persuade a person without somebody talking to you. Just the surrounding itself can be a persuasion on a person, depending on where they are in their own internal makeup. So we have to understand, for me personally, I see persuasion as a tool of warfare. One of those tools that's used besides deception, misdirection. You know what I mean? Persuasion is one of those great tools, because I can persuade my enemy to become a double spy. If I use the right techniques and the right, coercions, I can do these things. You see what I'm saying? And persuasion is usually utilized by those who are masters of hustling, masters of, giving the people what they want to hear. You understand what I'm saying? Politics is very persuasive. When you take a look at politics and how it works, the politician is a very persuasive individual. You know what I'm saying? The science of politics itself is persuasive. You have many people who fall in the political realm who are, a part of it, and who engage themselves in the political realm, and but they really have no knowledge of what they are engaging themselves in. They're going by propaganda, they're going by CNN, they're going by Fox, they're going by, what they've been told. They're not doing the research. They're not adequately, seeking out the information for themselves. So that means that they are being persuaded, they are being manipulated by a system, as well as individuals who support that particular system. So we have to look at persuasion for what it is. Even in the science of education, even in the science of employment, and so on and so forth, we see how persuasion works. With people, who have not had an equal opportunity to gain access to social institutions and resources and so on and so forth, because of the systematic poverty, the systematic traumatization of communities and neighborhoods, the total decimation of a community and a neighborhood, including the resources being extracted from that community, which causes in turn a particular type of reaction. You see what I'm saying? And this particular type of reaction built off poverty comes in the form of persuasion, when you have people who are manipulating the poverty. You understand what I'm saying? Manipulating the concept and using others, persuading them to do certain things that they would not normally do in their own thinking. You see what I mean? So a person who's very persuasive can seem to come at a time where they are being a hero to you, because you're so bogged down with so much different things going on, your mind can't function properly because it's trying to analyze and process too much trauma. So here comes a person with a simple answer. You understand what I'm saying? And it sounds good because he's giving you steps. He's giving you an outcome. It leads to this, and then you're looking at the person themselves who are a representation of this particular result that they're speaking about. Not understanding that they look that way because of the manipulation and the technique of persuasion that they've used on others to gain that particular look. You know what I'm saying? That look that attracts others, and so on and so forth, and the charismatics that goes along with it, as well as the other, theatrics that come along with it, the materialism and so on and so forth. So persuasion can be utilized in numerous ways. We can persuade people to kill. We can persuade people to steal. We can persuade people to live. We can persuade people to be healthy. We can persuade people to do that which is right. You understand what I'm saying? And therefore, it's not even persuasion. It's just the right thing to do. But when you persuade somebody out of their natural paradigm and alter them and put them in another thought process or another particular environment surrounding, then you are being a devil. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I just wanted to discuss a little bit today, was persuasion. And we must be aware of how persuasion works and pay attention to those around us who utilizes or attempts to persuade us. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you really listen to a person who's using persuasion or attempting to persuade you, when you really break them down and you really listen really effectively, actively listen, you will understand that they're not saying anything. It has no substance whatsoever. Usually it doesn't even make sense. But because you are in a particular mindset, it begins to make sense, because the person who's persuading you is speaking to your need, to what you think you may need. See, this person who's persuading you has studied you as well. So you just have to be careful about all of these types of things when you deal with people, period. Because there are some people who will come amongst you specifically for the purposes of persuasion. Peace.